Hello everyone, welcome to Sarah Be Too Good, where we learn to be too good to ourselves. Thank you for joining in and watching this video on today. You guys, I really appreciate you so much taking the time to choose to watch my videos. There are tons of other videos that you could have watched, but I do not take it lightly or for granted that you choose to stop in and watch my videos. Now, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. All right. Now, you guys, on today, I want to talk about faith versus laziness, procrastination, and or fear. I know that was heavy. It was heavy for me. You guys, I'm sure that we all have been guilty at some point in our lives where we said we was believing God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to do a thing in our lives. And truth be told, the very thing that we said that we was believing God to do, our activities, our actions did not align with what we said that we wanted God to do. For example, I completed my second manuscript, and the second manuscript was a little over 40,000 plus words. And prior to me completing the manuscript, because actually I got started on that manuscript. Gosh, it was, this is 25. It had to have been maybe 23. And I wrote the introduction, and then I wrote maybe the first 4 chapters. And then I was stuck because life was just lifing, okay? And so while I, was saying my affirmations, and I had my vision board that I'm going to publish, my vision board for 2024. In 2023, I said that, one of the goals on that vision board was that I was going to publish book number 2 and book number 3. And so while I got started and I completed the introduction and I completed, the first 4 chapters, but then I was stuck. And although that was on my vision board to publish, the second book, at some point I stopped after chapter 4. I stopped creating space to write. And so to write, it requires that I slow down. I can't be as busy as, normally, when I'm not writing. And so it required that I slow down. It required that I silence the noise around me so that I could hear and so that the thoughts will begin to flow. So as a published author, the slower my pace, the more quiet it is around me, the easier it is to get in the zone to write. And so I was saying that I was going to publish a second and third book, but I no longer created space to finish after chapter 4. I stopped creating space, but I also stopped creating time. Like, I stopped designating time to do that. But the moment that I decided, which was February of this year, 2025, that, hey, I'm going to finish, I think it was February, but anyhow, I know that it was this year, 2025. But the moment that I made a conscious decision that I am going to complete my manuscript on this year, and, my goal was to publish it in the summer, and it's still summer, but I wanted to do so by now, and I haven't because of finances, and so I have to work through some other things. But the main important thing is that I've got it done. But bottom line, my point is, when I decided that I was going to complete my manuscript, the second manuscript on this year before summer, I created a schedule that I would work that I would specifically work on my manuscript. I designated time. I did not put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I created space and I created designated time for me to complete, for me to work on the manuscript. I intentionally quieted the noise around me. I stopped taking phone calls. I limited the amount of phone calls that I was taking. I limited my time on social media. These are all the things that I did. There were some nights, I was determined that I was going to finish a chapter. There were some nights that I stayed up until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because I was on a chapter and I was just determined to finish. And it was because of that level of activity that I was able to complete a 40,000 plus manuscript while maintaining a clocking job, going to therapy, and doing another project that I was working on. And so when I was recently mindful, like, wow, I set that goal and I completed it. And so we're still in the process of being reviewed by the copy editor. And so then I began to think about, well, what about all the other times that I had goals set, things that I wanted to accomplish? What was different between me completing this 40,000 plus manuscript while maintaining a clocking job versus other goals, other things that I really wanted to do? And the only difference was the activity. The activity. Not before, but other goals, getting tongue-tied, other goals that I desired, that I wanted to meet, and I'm just being honest, I'm being honest because to thine own self must I be true. And so I was operating in a spirit of procrastination, fear, and just flat out lazy. Just flat out being lazy. Did not want to do it. And it was just pure laziness. Yes. Okay. And so, but during that time, I was like, well, I'm believing God. I'm believing the Most High to do this. I'm believing the Most High to do that. But my activity on a different goal didn't match what it is that I was asking God to do. And when I realized that, I was like, ouch, ouch. So when I come and, and record a video, I want to share something that is going to benefit you as much as it benefit me. Because when we know better, that's the only time that we can do better, when we know better. And so I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you on today. Whatever it is that you are seeking God to do, whatever it is that you have before God and you need His help in completing and obtaining whatever it is that you're seeking, I want to encourage you to make sure that your activity matches whatever it is that you're asking God to do. In other words, don't be out here pipe dreaming, saying you want God to do, like, I just used the example that I did. I wanted to be done with the manuscript, but I'm not creating space. I'm not creating time. There's no discipline. There's no none of that. And so I just want to challenge you, to encourage you to make sure that whatever it is that you're asking God, whatever it is that you have petitioned before God to do for you, be sure that your activity matches whatever it is that you're needing God to do. He's not a genie. We can't just rub a genie and He's just going to do whatever we asking Him to do. And whatever we're asking Him to do, it's just going to magically appear like the cereal Lucky Charms. Okay? And so make sure that your activity matches whatever it is that you are asking God to do. If your activity is not matching what it is you're asking God to do, then it's you're either operating out of fear, procrastination, or laziness in the same manner that I was. And so I want you to become self-aware so you can begin to do things differently, so that you can begin to see the things that you're asking God to do, that they begin to manifest, because not only of your activity, but God, because God's word says faith without works is dead. And so I pray that this word has been encouraging to you as much as it has encouraged me. And I had to say, ouch. And so again, Sarah Be Too Good is a safe space where we learn to be too good to ourselves. You guys, thank you for watching. Share this video. And until next time, I love you.